Hi, for today's session, I'd like to take a deeper dive into Zoom. Okay, all right, first thing first, let me go through the checklist for this stock. All right, let's turn on the earnings dashboard and go to the weekly chart. All right, here's the checklist. For the very first thing, there's the fundamental checklist. Let's check the revenue. The revenue has been green. As you can see here, they are growing in single digits. So this is really not a high growth company anymore. But the good thing is it is actually growing, not decreasing. Now let's take a look at the EPS. How is their EPS doing? The EPS were not doing so great uh, in the middle of 2022, November 2022, or even the February of this year. But it looks to me like the management is getting more disciplined. So May of 2023 compared to May of 2022, there was a 13% increase. Um, August, even though it's an easier comp, it's also an increase. So it's looking like it is really, really good or getting better. Now let's take a look at the chart and see if it really corresponds with that. 2022 February, 2023 February is right around here. All right, so from the top, that is a big drop. Usual. All right, let's go to 2023 February. So roughly around there. It's a pretty big drop. A drop of 88%. That's humongous. Now, for something drop that big, it really needs a lot of time to consolidate. If we zoom in a little bit deeper, let's see if it has consolidated a little bit. So there's this leg, there's another leg from here to here, there's another leg from this peak to this trough, and recently there's a drop from here to here. As you can see, it is improving. So it was what almost 90% drop here. Now it drops to 43%, 29%, 27%, recently 13%. So it's looking better and better. But it is definitely a risky stock, bottom fishing stock. Now let's take a look at the technicals and look at the relative strength. The relative strength has not been green on the weekly, but let's zoom right in and take a look at the daily. All right, on the daily picture, let's turn off the earnings. The daily picture is a little bit better. You can see some outperformance over here, but going down. Generally speaking, the slope of the line is going down. As you can see by the gray line right there, that is the 50-day simple moving average of the RS line itself. Let's zoom in recently. It's been trying to consolidate up and down uh, on this range. This is still kind of a big, good range. So from here to here is still, like we mentioned earlier, like a 14% range. Let's call that, 14% range, which is an improvement from the previous. All right, but let's continue to look at the technical. The RS line has been underperforming here, but after they reported earnings, the RS line has stable out and recently has been going up. So there seemed to be a change of character in the stock after it has reported earnings on this day. Now, this was kind of tricky because they beat on the earnings and they beat on the revenue by a little bit, but that next day, the Wall Street folks are very tricky, right? They sold it off to make a new load and for the day, and then just scoop it back up. Kind of mid range, so it's kind of iffy range of price to buy for that day. The next day had a little bit of follow through, consolidate a few days, and off it goes. Right? Looks to me like I bought it right over here near the high of this basing period, thinking that it's just gonna go. Did not really play out. This was from a very undisciplined buy, so I did not really sell it. I still have it. It made a giant U, which is good news for me because I'm in the black again. But let's see. Let's look forward. At this point, I should not have bought it because it's way too far away from the 65-day EMA. And just looking back a few days, this stock has really not been respecting the 65-day. This just means the institutions are not in it yet. They are not supporting it on the 65 EMA, where if it is a high quality stock, it usually gets some support. This is a almost $19 billion company, so it should be liquid enough for a lot of institutions out there. Um, but well, let's see. Accumulation wise, this has been. I see a lot of green bars, but I also see some spikes in the red. It just means that it has been under some minor accumulation by the institutions. I also see some pocket pivots here. Those are all somewhat positive signs, but the big negative is the RS. It really has been underperforming the market up until recently. So taking a look at even more recent, like the past couple weeks after the earnings, it really has a slight change of character over here. It tried to fight through the 65-day and finally went above it. Now let's see if there are any more retests and see if it come down way below and find any support on the 65-day. The past few days volume has been really good. The volumes are above average, uh, but it really needs to be a little bit tighter on the ranges. Like today's range is super wide and loose, which is not a good sign. It usually means that it's not that sustainable. So from the low to the high, today's like 7%. Just kind of looking back, this seems to be a pretty wide bar compared to the rest of them on average basis. But let's see. Right now we're kind of extended from the 65-day EMA, but at least the volume signature has been good. Let's turn on this indicator, Super Trend AI. See here. So as soon as it retook that 65-day, this ain't turned green, meaning this would have been a good price to buy from there, about $69. Now we're a little bit above this pivot, and it basically got rejected from, let's say, 1 year, basically the height of this base right here, this basing period. It's not quite ready yet, so the jury is still out there, but it's looking to me like this stock is ready to go. Not saying that this is a good time to buy because there's no low risk entry yet. All right, so I'm going to keep this on my radar on a day-to-day basis. Kind of monitor my position here. It's a very small position that I bought over there, kind of in an undisciplined way, which is always not good. So I should have purchased it um, much later. On this buy, let's kind of take a look as we wrap up the video. Um, it did find some support over here, but it really was not enough because if you look back a little bit more, it was just all over the place, up down, the 65-day purple line. So, all right, maybe I got lucky that it came back, but we shall see. So far, it's looking pretty good. Well, that is it. Let's keep an eye on this one. But the main takeaway I want to say is this is just kind of a tricky stock. It's not ready. It's not institutional sponsor type of stock yet. All right, that is it. Thank you very much.